Hey, good evening. We're going to be going earlier right now because I got to go to church, but I wanted to talk about corruption. My name is Jarrin Jackson. Good evening. You can call in briefly, 918-845-9555. That number right here gets you this right here. I am the America First candidate in the Oklahoma State Senate District Number 2 runoff on August 23rd. I do not take PAC money. I don't take special interest money. No lobbyist cares about what I have to say, and all the media hates my guts. Why? Because I'm the one that they're afraid of. I'm the one that they can't control, and I'm the one that's not obedient to them. I work for the people. Because the people support me, that's why we're going to win. I'm going to win because of people like you, not because of some special interest or lobbyist or PAC money. So Jarrin doesn't take special interest or PAC money, won't do it. I'll send it right back to him with the poop emoji. I'm not going to take your dirty lobbyist money ever. Just remember that. I do want to point out, though, whenever you get mail, look at the address, right? And you look at the box that it says paid for and authorized by, right? Paid for and authorized by. Mine will always say paid for and authorized by Jarrin Jackson 2022. That's my campaign right now. If you get a piece of mail and you look on the thing and it says not paid for or authorized by any candidate or candidate committee, that's a PAC. That's a lobbyist. That's a special interest group. That is dark money. And it's likely Democrats, because Democrats don't have the popular support of the people. Democrats have the grift and the greed and the schemes of corruption and subterfuge that are washing taxpayer dollars through corrupt agencies and attacking conservatives, attacking patriots. So I don't take any PAC money. I haven't benefited from any special interest money, and I won't. If I ever see any special interest, PAC, or lobbyist say something good for me, I will say, I don't want you, stay out of the race. It's Democrat money. It's communist money. It's probably taken under the pretense of some type of corrupt, broken promise. Having said that, I think we need to talk about corruption. Article 1, Section 9, Clause 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Clause 8. Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8 of the Constitution says, no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatsoever from the king, prince, or foreign state. The founders did not want a corrupt government. The founders did not want fealty or loyalty to a man, which is why whenever you swear into office, you swear an oath to the Constitution. We are a rule of law. We are not a law of man. Because America is for freedom, amen, we recognize the law is what governs us and not other people. The founders didn't want people to have titles of nobility. And yet today we've got functionally the same thing. We've got kingmakers in politics. There are corrupt people at Oklahoma level, the local level, and the federal level that because they've gained their power from a career of climbing to the top and stabbing their friends in the back and corrupting taxpayer monies and washing it to attack their political opponents, because this has become where we are, that's where people like President Trump are so valuable. And that's why the FBI is going after him. I want to play one clip and then one clip, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. So this is Senator Cardin. He's from Maryland. He's a Democrat U.S. Senator, talking about or answering the question about people who are afraid, Americans who are afraid that the IRS just doubled in size and that they're going to come after them. Watch this, and we're going to link this to the corruption of the FBI coming after President Trump, and we're going to link this to the corruption that impacts local races. So here's Senator Cardin telling you not to be scared of the IRS.
Can you understand how 87,000 new IRS agents would scare the heck out of millions of Americans? Millions of Americans aren't going to be impacted by that other than getting better service from the IRS, having their telephone answered, getting the questions they need in order to comply with our tax laws. The auditing is going to be focused on those of high income, the large corporations, etc. So there's no reason to be fearful. And if you paid your taxes and if you comply with our laws, you should want to make sure everyone else does that.
If you obey, you don't have to be afraid. That's what that Democrat politician is saying. I believe that they've inverted the paradigm. I believe these globalist, corrupt, anti-American people have inverted the foundation of freedom to now obedience. I'm an American. I'm an image bearer of God because God gives good gifts and creates all man in his image. We're all equal. That man right there has a paradigm. He has a philosophy where he wants to subjugate people, and as long as they obey, you don't have to fear. As long as you obey us, you're good to go. I think that's evil and corrupt, especially given the fact that he's speaking about an extra constitutional agency, the IRS. We talked about that yesterday. So he is talking about doubling the size of the IRS and people not having to worry about, more IRS agents that are armed with all the ammunition that they purchased. Let's couple this with what we know about the President Trump raid. This, what I believe, this illegal and unconstitutional anti-freedom attack that they did on President Trump. Already in the Washington Post earlier today, it was published that, oh, look at this, Citizen Trump. No, he's President Trump. This is Jeff Bezos' blog, the dude that wants to, control the world because he owns Amazon and he wants to break mom and pop shops. Jeff Bezos' mom and pop blog. Citizen Trump may have broken a law that President Trump made a felony. No, he is President Trump because he was the president, and he did not break a law. But this right here is propaganda. He is trying to use the platform to enter through the eyes and through the ears to dominate the minds of people. So there are people that will only read those headlines, and they won't research the facts. They won't look at what's going on. And this is why we have so much hatred in our country today, is because there's misleading, deceptive, and just outright lies going into public. You need to be able to verify this, and I believe there should be repercussions. But this blog post from the Washington Post is talking about how President Trump broke a law that was a felony. And you know why they're doing this? Because they don't want him to run for presidency, because they're scared. Because they can't beat him on issues, because they know the American people have vomited these communists out of their belief system. People are rejecting wholesale the destruction of America. They're rejecting the destruction of the family. They're rejecting the destruction of our Christian ideals and our founding. They're rejecting the idea that the Constitution is a modern, modular, it can be an adaptive living document. They're rejecting all those things. We are returning to truth. And what we've seen is the struggle, mostly psychological. We're seeing the informational battle where there's this pitch and there's this to and fro, this tossing side to side of people trying to determine what is truth. And so we're going to get to the scriptures here in a second. I want to do one more thing here. It says, this is how President Trump, why the Trump search warrant is nothing like Hillary's emails. If that doesn't scream guilty conscience from Politico, I don't know what is. But look at this. The president has decried the FBI's search of his home, but legal experts, always experts. They're always experts. They're never mediocre people. They're always experts. But legal experts say the agency is likely on firm ground. They know Trump could clear a lot of the mystery up himself. So another piece of propaganda putting the burden of proof on President Trump. President Trump was the one whose private residence was raided, despite him working with and cooperating in full with the FBI. He's not the one at fault. The FBI is the one at fault. The National Archives, the judge, there's a conflict of interest. All of these people are involved in corruption. All of these people lose if President Trump wins. All of these people are diminished if your rights are protected. Hear that. If you are allowed to live your life, these people lose. Because their whole life, their system of existence, their way of understanding is predicated on a power dynamic that is adversarial, which is to say, an enemy of you. They've arranged things for people to look to government as though it's an idol, as though it's their master. And as long as the government tells them what to do and the people obey, the people in charge are good to go. This is where Senator Cardin, that U.S. Senator, that Democrat U.S. Senator from Maryland, he's saying, listen, if you pay your taxes, you got nothing to worry about. If you followed all the law, you got nothing to worry about. That is a smug, elite, erudite, know-it-all, arrogant perspective. That is a holier-than-thou, you are beneath me, kiss my feet, peasant type of way of thinking. For him to have the auspice or the pretense that fellow image bearers of God, fellow citizens, should grovel to him and not worry about the fact that, well, you guys are growing the government, and the people that are in charge of searching our taxes, you now just gave a lot of ammo. I don't like that. I don't find that in the Constitution. And yet you now have this erudite elitist telling us that we're not supposed to worry about that. I also had someone, no, we won't go there. So what I want to end with, because I got to go to church here real fast, and you guys should too. You can start to prep your calls, 918-845-9555 right here. Matthew 6:24, Jesus teaches, no one can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and wealth. This is the Legacy Standard. I usually use King James, but it's in the house, ready to go to church. You cannot serve two masters. These corrupt people, whether they are sending out mailers, remember, the mailers have to say from, paid for and authorized by Jarrin Jackson, right? Those are from me. This is from me. This is from my campaign. If you get mailers in the mail and it says not paid for or authorized by any candidate or candidate committee, that's a Democrat wash through money. It's coming from special interests. It could in Oklahoma, because we've got such corruption here, it's probably coming from your tax dollars. There's a scheme right now where taxpayers pay in. The money goes to the Epic Charter School, and Epic Charter School paid tens of thousands of dollars to several groups, and these several groups took that taxpayer money, turned around, and then attacked critics of Epic. So Epic is receiving tax dollars. Then Epic takes those tax dollars and gives it to political hatchet men who then run attack ads of anybody who's critical of that process. And they've been successful at kicking people out of office. They've been successful at beating people. We just re-elected Cindy Byrd. Cindy Byrd was targeted by over $1 million trying to get her out of office because she was the one that brought that to light. So the corruption in Oklahoma is massive, and you can cut straight through it. Look on the tag. Who's paying for the mailer that's hitting your inbox? This corruption, this Democrat stolen tax money washed corruption scheme that's happening in Oklahoma, it's the same Democrat stolen tax money scheme that's augmenting the IRS, equipping them with ammunition. It's the same Democrat stolen tax money scheme that weaponized the FBI. Those were not West Palm Beach FBI agents. Those FBI agents that raided President Trump's home came en masse from D.C. So not only was their trip paid for by the taxpayers from D.C. to Southern Florida, but they went from D.C. to Southern Florida to raid President Trump's home despite the fact that he was in full cooperation with the feds. And the documents they were looking for had already been declassified. So President Trump could have had 1 million copies of what they were looking for, and because it was declassified, it wasn't illegal for him to have. The whole thing is corrupt, because they want to nail him with the felony so he can't serve in office, so that they can prevent the guy who everyone supports from having the power that was justly given to him from the consent of we the people. Does that make sense? And so here you have the same thing in Oklahoma. You've got the same thing at the federal government. You've got the same thing overseas in Afghanistan. We could talk about warlords some other day. All right, I got 918-845-9555. 918-845-9555. Okay, so with that, I got to get going to church. No one's texting me. No one's doing stuff. You can get me right here, 918-845-9555. We're going to do this again tomorrow, Lord willing. You know what? We'll do it Sunday evening. We'll do it like 7 o'clock Sunday evening, building up to the campaign. If you are a voter in District 2, Oklahoma, State Senate, have people call. If you're from out of state, like the person calling me, I'm going to try to give it priority to the people that actually vote here. Not to say I won't answer or talk to you offline, but this right here is for voters. If you have a voter, if you know a voter, friend, family, church member, neighbor, whatnot, get them to watch this. Share it with them. What other time do you have a live broadcasting candidate whose name is on the ballot, who loves Jesus, will defend the Constitution, is a combat veteran, unabashed supporter of President Trump, an America First patriot, going straight at these corporatists, these special interests, the people seeking to undermine Oklahoma, undermine America, and you can talk directly to him, ask him any question live on the internet in a predictable fashion? If that's not accessible, and I mean, like, there's no one here. No one is telling me what to say. I could even turn my hat on backwards. Look at that. That's how much I'm in charge. that's how much I'm in charge of what I say. Anyway, I appreciate your time. God bless you. Again, my name is Jarrin Jackson. I am the America First Patriot candidate running for State Senate in District Number 2, Oklahoma. That election is on August 23rd. That's my cell phone, 918-845-9555. This is my link to my donation site. That's jacksonoklahoma.com/donate. If you want to help me out there, every little bit matters. Every dollar donated goes directly to pushing this message to the people who need to hear it. And the last thing, remember, on your mailers, you're getting a lot of them, on these mailers, they need to say authorized and paid for by the candidate. If it's not authorized and paid for by the candidate, it's Democrat swamp PAC money. Do you want Democrat swamp PAC money influencing your thinking? I thought not. They probably like Planned Parenthood. Just think, the people sending you those PAC letters support Planned Parenthood. Amen. I don't. I think that's wrong. I think it's murder. Anyway, appreciate your time. God bless you. Have a good night. I'm going to go to church. Y'all should do the same. Have a good night.